What's going on, guys? Bradley Martyn here. Listen, I'm gonna give you guys some tips that you may not have known that you needed, all right? And it has to do with squatting, improving your squat, improving your leg strength, improving your explosiveness, making you better overall in the gym, making you better at deadlifting, making you better at benching. You're probably like, Brad, what are you talking about? How is getting a stronger squat going to make my bench press stronger? It is. Not that I'm a pro wrestler or anything. I'm not. I wrestled one guy one time, you know, and it went in my favor. Now, most people get into a squat and they just kind of like do it. I think a lot of people, especially like just the typical gym bro, like if you're not like, oh, I'm a power lifter or I'm an Olympic weightlifter, those people have specifics they go into the squat already knowing they're gonna do, right? So if you're a power lifter, you probably already know you're probably doing a low bar stance, a wider stance, more glute, hip, and hamstring dominant, like more of this for movement, right? Versus a Olympic lifter who's gonna have a higher bar, who's gonna have more of like an upright position, okay? Now, to give you guys some background, I started out into weightlifting before I ever got into bodybuilding, before I ever got into powerlifting. So originally, my squat stance was a high bar squat stance, okay? And before that, when I was like 15, 16, 17, I had a low bar. But when I really got into like trying to get better at training, like trying to get stronger, I was active in Olympic weightlifting. So I started with a higher bar stance, okay? So I'm gonna show you guys the two stances, and then I'm gonna explain how you can change or alter these two things to better suit your needs and what you want to get out of the squat for you, okay? So this is a high bar stance. So the high bar stance, depending on how comfortable you feel with the distance between your feet, right? Are you a little wider? Are you a little more narrow? It's gonna be dominantly a quad exercise, okay? So obviously core is engaged, back's engaged, glutes, hamstrings, all the stuff's engaged at certain parts of the movement, but the dominant muscle group is going to be quads. You'll notice that after doing it a few times, right? Just like if you did front squats, you're gonna notice quads, core, upper back, lower back. Glutes and hamstrings are always involved. Like you can't squat without those muscles working, but the thing that's gonna be mostly dominant for the person squatting, depending on femur length, depending on hip mobility, is going to be the quads, okay? So I used the high bar stance once I realized when I was low bar squatting before I got into Olympic lifting, my quads were super lacking, okay? My quad strength, like my explosion from the ground. So when I got low, like in a wider stance, when I got here, I had a really hard time like starting that movement, like from the bottom up. Now, what I realized for me was I lacked a lot of quad strength, okay? So in changing my entire squat setup and obviously my position, my placement of the bar, I worked on getting my quad. And not only did I lack the quad strength from the bottom, but I also lacked the development in the quads. My butt and my hamstring got really big because that's where I was more dominant and that's how I was training. But I lacked a lot of quad development. I lacked a lot of quad strength, okay? So when I changed from the low bar to the high bar, and I basically worked on that for about, I don't know, another year. When I came back to the low bar, my overall squat, like my total number, was much, much stronger. You guys don't understand, when you first get into working out and you do something, let's say you first start benching or you first start squatting, you kind of get into something and you kind of just do what feels natural to you, like what feels best, okay? That doesn't always mean it's gonna be most optimal, but for whatever it's worth, it doesn't matter at that point. It's kind of like, do what's best for you, try and be within the reason of like form and structure of like the movement, and then as you learn, start to try to learn some new things or adapt or change your training depending on like where you start to notice your growth is happening, whether you feel stronger from the glutes and hamstrings or you feel stronger from the quads. Like I was saying, I was very strong posterior chain, so everything, I was really good at jumping, my glutes and my hamstring, everything was like explosive and strong, but when it came to my quad strength and my quad development, it was very low, like I said. So if you guys are a lifter and you're like, you're having a really hard time getting quad development, but you're squatting, right? It might be because of your stance, right? Because you gotta understand, the power squat, right? The lower bar, and I'll show you guys that right now, is gonna be a more, in most cases for most people, it's gonna be more of a glute and a hamstring dominant exercise, okay? As you can see, obviously, like the movement itself is very like, it's a big hip hinge. So I'm kind of like keeping the weight on my heels. The bar is lower, kind of like resting on my rear delts or the end of my rear delts instead of like up on my neck or the top of my traps. And I'm mostly just focused on getting a big breath of air Now, the hand placement depends on your shoulder mobility. Some people have really poor shoulder mobility, and you'll see they'll hold the bar wider out. If you can though, the better for both lifts, whether it be a high bar or a low bar, it's better to have your hands tighter if you can. Depends on your shoulder mobility, like I said, but the tighter, the better, because it's gonna give you a sturdier, more sturdy upper back. So you'll be able to be more upright, whether you're in the bottom position or here at the top. Again, the hip hinge, you guys are gonna see the weight. Once the bar is up here, depending where your hands are, bars up here, the movement starts almost like I'm loading my heels. I'm just thinking about not like going like this, not coming up on my toes or anything, but my weight will stay flat, my feet will stay flat, and as I go down, that weight going towards my heels, and all I'm thinking about is just getting the parallel, because at this point, I'm not worried about getting any lower. The lower I get, the more I might get issue with my knee. Now, that changes when it comes to a high bar position. High bar is much different. So, the point of this video, though, guys, is to explain to you this one really simple thing. If you're squatting and you're like, yo, I want to get a stronger squat, I almost guarantee you, depending on what your squat stance is, if you change your squat stance for a while, like 3 months, like say normally you're a low bar squatter, right? And you're limiting, you see there's a limit to your squat somewhere, right? Like I did when I first started. And I changed my squat stance completely, and I learned how to do the high bar much more efficiently, and then I practiced it with the weightlifting, so then I actually got good at it. And then when I went back to the low bar, without ever doing low bar in between, my low bar squat was exponentially stronger. It's really just, everyone has certain things that right away, it doesn't matter if it's like benching, deadlifting, everything. Everyone has different body lengths, like literally different muscle lengths, different bone lengths, different leverages. So naturally, some people are gonna be better at other movements than other people. And that's the way it is, right? So when you get into it, you'll start to learn after about a year, kind of like what you're a little bit better at. I know it sounds like a long time, but it's kind of how it goes. You learn. And then once you realize what you're better at, this is the fucking secret. This is the secret that no one wants to tell you, okay? This is the secret. And it's a dirty fucking secret, because it's so true and it's a little painful. You have to do the things that you're not fucking good at. But some key things to understand are, focus on the things that you're not good at for a good amount of time. So like I said, if you're not good at certain positions of the squat, get better at them. If you like the other one more than the other, and you're just like, yeah, this one because I feel better, like that's good. I don't want you to go do an exercise that you just feel shitty doing. But at the same time, you should know the difference between feeling shitty because you feel weak versus like feeling shitty because it's painful, right? And if it feels shitty because you feel weak, you should basically be like, look, this sucks right now, let me make this better. Go back to the thing that you like doing more, like the squat stance you like doing more. I promise you, the thing that you liked more, you're gonna like it even more because you're gonna be stronger at it. Squat is a great example of that, and will teach you and will humble you in that sense really quickly. So, guys, one more time. High or low bar, doesn't matter which one you choose, try to focus on your weak points in the lift, especially when you get to the plateau. When you get to the plateau, focus on weak points. Where are you slow at? Are you slow from the floor? Are you slow when you get low? Is it really hard to pass this part, right? Or is it hard to finish here, right? And that will help you decide where to go next. So that's it. I love you guys. Subscribe to the channel Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 10 a.m. We fucked up last week. That's Jake's fault. No, that was Steve's fault. 100% Steve's fault. That was actually Steve's fault. Now, I'm not a dirty liar like Steve is. You fuck up sometimes though. You fuck up the titles.
Yeah, I'll be honest. The typos are me.
He's like, I'm looking at it and like, I see all these comments and they're like neck boys. What the fuck is this? I'm like, god damn it. I said everything.
Those are me. I'll take that one.
Maybe Jake does it on purpose though, because of the comments. No, you don't though. You just actually fuck it up.
Yeah.
The side effect is the comments, and I'm like, well, that's pretty good. At least they comment, you know? But yeah, we're out of here. I love you guys. Subscribe to the channel. More coming soon. If you like this style of video where it's just more straight tutorial, I'm trying to just legit help you guys get stronger, get better in the gym, get fucking abs, get stronger legs, bigger chest, bigger arm, whatever it is. If you want more tutorial type informational videos, go to my motherfucking website. No, I'm gonna post them here too. But you guys gotta tell me, because I know right now, I post some squat videos, it's not gonna get as many views, people aren't gonna engage with it as much because it's fucking squatting. I know it sucks, but like, this is gonna make you better.
Video, just
even
one.
Listen, if I got one view, I know that one person's stronger than the rest of you motherfuckers.
Exactly.
Okay?
That's
Fuck
exactly
you guys,
it.
okay? Fuck Jake for a sponsor, bro.